Edudzi David Sallah.
Most societies throughout history have instituted ways to deal with criminals, including the penalty of death. How such a penalty is carried out, or whether it ought to be carried out at all, is an ongoing discussion. My research offers an appreciation of the worldview that shaped one particular indigenous African execution practice called Toko Atolia. Toko Atolia is now a defunct form of capital punishment practiced in pre-19th century by a community in Ghana, West Africa, known as the Anglo-Ewes. In this practice, executioners will lead a person judged guilty of a serious crime to a forest in the dead of night and bury him alive with his head above the ground for birds to peck at till his death. After the execution, a drum was played saying, "Myek dazam, myek bozam," meaning we went by night and came by night, thus communicating the act to the entire community. Toko Atolia was a practice of the people, by the people, and for the people. Toko Atolia, like many other indigenous African execution practices, has been judged barbaric by modern externally imposed notions of justice and punishment. I argue, however, that this seemingly barbaric practice makes sense within the worldview of the pre-19th century Anglo-Ewes. The worldview of these people saw supernatural forces who hated crime active in their community. When the community did not severely punish a crime, these forces punished the entire community. The Anglo-Ewes instituted this practice to express their hate for crime, to serve as a deterrent to crime within the community, and to sustain a harmonious relationship with the supernatural forces. The perceived barbarity of Toko Atolia is mitigated by its place in this specific community-focused worldview. As a form of justice answering to a supernatural authority, Toko Atolia was only practiced when all other alternatives to reform a criminal had been exhausted but failed. I conclude that if you view Toko Atolia through the worldview of the pre-19th century Anglo-Ewes, the apparent extremism of this punishment is understandable. My research seeks to further intercultural understanding by showing how externally imposed judgments overlook deeper meanings in cultural practices. For instance, 100 years from now, or perhaps now, someone may ask, why is the practice of lethal injection in the American justice system now done behind closed doors, if it is a justified act? This may equally be considered barbaric if we overlook the fact that the American death penalty is or might be consistent with Americans' own beliefs, values, and norms. And so was Toko Atolia consistent with the beliefs, values, and norms of the pre-19th century Anglo-Ewes. Thank you.